Welcome back to Learning English Pro. In this video, we will be exploring lots more English vocabulary and terms relating to healthcare and medicine. This video is perfect for anyone studying or working in any type of medicine in English. Get ready to boost your medical English knowledge with pronunciation, definitions, and lots of examples. I plan to make lots more vocabulary videos on healthcare, so if there is a specific area you wish me to cover, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to check out the extensive word list in the description. Are you ready? Sit back, relax, and let's learn some English together. Let's take a look at our first term, a runny nose. And this describes a nose that has a lot of liquid coming out of it. Let's take a look at our example sentence. We could say, Diane always has a runny nose. Diane always has a runny nose. Our next term is health hazard. And this describes something which is dangerous or a health risk. Our example sentence is, the chemicals they use are a health hazard. The chemicals they use are a health hazard. Our next term is drip. As a noun, it is short for intravenous drip, a device for administering a fluid drop by drop into a vein via an intravenous or IV route. Our example sentence is, can you change the patient's drip, please? Can you change the patient's drip, please? Our next term is a condition known as a chesty cough. And this describes a cough caused by congestion around the lungs. Our example sentence is, Diane is suffering from a chesty cough at the moment. Diane is suffering from a chesty cough at the moment. Our next term is the word chill. And this describes a feeling of coldness. Our example sentence is, Daniel caught a chill when he was out in the snow. Daniel caught a chill when he was out in the snow. The next term we will cover is cardiologist. This describes a specialist of the heart and heart activity. We could say, after his heart attack, Niall was under the care of a cardiologist. After his heart attack, Niall was under the care of a cardiologist. If you'd like to learn more English vocabulary on different types of doctors, check out my extensive video. The link for that is on screen right now. Let's move on to our next term, which is nervous breakdown. This term is sometimes used by people to describe a stressful situation in which they are temporarily unable to function normally in day-to-day life. Our example sentence is, after the death of her son, Vicky had a nervous breakdown. After the death of her son, Vicky had a nervous breakdown. Our next term is the word relapse. And this word means the return of an illness. Let's take a look at our example sentence. The doctors thought David had recovered, but he suffered a relapse and is now sick again. The doctors thought David had recovered, but he suffered a relapse and is now sick again. Let's move on to our next term, which is the noun cure. This is defined as a medicine or therapy that removes disease completely or relieves pain and symptoms. Our example sentence is, scientists are trying to find a cure for cancer. Scientists are trying to find a cure for cancer. If this is your first time visiting my channel, Learning English Pro, you're very welcome. My name is Jer and I'm narrating your lesson today. Make sure to subscribe to stay updated for all my latest videos. Our next term is aches and pains. This phrase describes minor pains that continue over a period of time. We could say, the patient has had some aches and pains in her stomach for a few days. The patient has had some aches and pains in her stomach for a few days. Let's move on to our next term, which is stethoscope. This is a medical instrument for listening to the action of someone's heart or breathing. I will examine the patient with my stethoscope. I will examine the patient with my stethoscope. Our next term is ambulatory. This describes something relating to or adapted for walking. Our example sentence is, his treatment is focused on his ambulatory function. His treatment is focused on his ambulatory function. Our next term is NHS. This acronym stands for National Health Service, the famous publicly funded British healthcare system which was founded in 1948. Our example sentence is, the NHS is having difficulty recruiting staff since Brexit. The NHS is having difficulty recruiting staff since Brexit. Next up, we have a verb, to alleviate, and this is defined as an action to make suffering, a deficiency, or a problem less severe. Our example sentence is, the nurse was able to alleviate his pain when she gave him the medication. The nurse was able to alleviate his pain when she gave him the medication. And next up we have an adjective, responsive. And this describes someone or something reacting quickly and positively and the ability to respond to a stimulus. Our sentence example is, Claire is becoming more responsive since she received her treatment. Claire is becoming more responsive since she received her treatment. Our next term is Medicaid. Medicaid in the United States is a federal and state program that helps with healthcare costs for some people with limited income and resources. We could say, she is on Medicaid, which helps pay for her asthma medication. She is on Medicaid, which helps pay for her asthma medication. Our next term is backache, and this describes a prolonged pain in the back or spine. Let's take a look at our example sentence. I have been suffering with a backache for the past 2 weeks. I have been suffering with a backache for the past 2 weeks. Our next term is a piece of medical equipment, crutch, and the definition is a long stick with a crosspiece at the top, used as a support under the armpit by a person with an injury or disability. We could say Mary is on crutches since she broke her hip bone. Mary is on crutches since she broke her hip bone. Coming up next, we have the term therapy. And this describes treatment intended to relieve or heal a disorder. And there are lots of different types of therapy. Let's take a look at our example. Her physical therapy will help her regain her stamina. Her physical therapy will help her regain her stamina. And our final term is a phrase, as fit as a fiddle. And this is a phrase meaning in good physical condition, to be very healthy and strong. Our example sentence is, my grandfather recovered from his illness and is now as fit as a fiddle. My grandfather recovered from his illness and is now as fit as a fiddle. And that brings us to the end of this lesson. Let me know in the comments below what you think and if there's any areas of medicine you wish me to cover in the future. And make sure to check out my channel where you will find lots and lots of different types of vocabulary videos on lots of different and interesting subjects. And coming up on screen are some video suggestions just for you, and while you're here you can subscribe. Don't forget to check out the extensive word list in the description below, and you can check out my social media, links are in the description as well. That just leaves me to say I hope you have a great day, and remember, keep learning English like a pro.